This is the 2024 Infiniti QX60 Autograph. Is it the ultimate luxury midsize SUV? Hey everybody, it's Tom from Vehicle Visionary. I hope you're having a great day. I borrowed this model from my friends at Infiniti here in Shreveport, Louisiana, and we are going to go through the details of what you can expect to find if this is a model you want to buy. I know a few of you have asked for that side profile view, so let me stop and let you look at it, just to give a different perspective. Sometimes I just do a walk around, but we'll try and stop at the areas where you might want to see or take a little more time looking at the vehicle. If you want to know more about this particular model, which does come in all-wheel drive, that's what we have here. You can see the logo right down here. Check out the link down in the description of the video. And obviously, you're going to have plenty of LED lighting. Let's work our way back around here to the front end as we take a look at our headlights. We'll also have our daytime running lights and the turn signals up here. Just a nice look. I like the fact that you basically have three different lights. You just have a brake right here is what you ultimately have, or so it appears to be a brake. We'll put it that way because ultimately that's what it is. You can see the light actually is continual. You just have the trim pieces right here to make it look that way, just to separate things apart. Now, there are no fog lights and no active air curtains. Not sure if that really matters to most potential owners, but tell me what your thoughts are. Chrome seems to fit really well here. I don't think gloss black, or that piano black finish, as a lot of you like to call it, would fit. So we have the chrome surround with the grille, but the areas where we do have some gloss black is right here in the middle. That seems to fit, broken up nicely by the nice large Infiniti logo right there. So quite a bit going on here. We do have air flowing into the engine, obviously through the upper and the lower grills. The Infiniti logo right there in the center. For those of you who like to see me in the videos, well, there you go, you just did. And as I told you, all-wheel drive is what we're going to have here. Let's talk about our tire and wheel specifications. We're going to have a 255 tread width, a 50 series sidewall wrapped around the 20-inch wheels. As we work our way up to the side view mirrors, we will not have body colored mirror caps. You will find gloss black here. I think that fits. It seems to work. You also have the turn signal indicator built in. They're power adjustable side view mirrors. They are power folding. Let's see if I can show you that real fast. What I'm going to do is push the button right there. And let's see if we can do it all at one time and show you everything. There we go. I know that's a feature a lot of people like. That can come in handy, especially in tight parking situations. And we'll also find our remote right here. It does have remote start, the feature that so many of you like to know about. I can't say that I blame you for that. That has a lot of conveniences, a lot of good opportunity just to make life a little bit easier. And a combination of chrome and the body colored door handles. If you have the remote on your person, obviously you can walk up, touch the door handle, and lock and unlock the vehicle. You can do the same thing back here on the rear doors. And we'll find again that the trim down here is going to be chrome, the Infiniti logo right there. It really doesn't need me in the shot to mess things up. I don't know how well you can see that on the screen as to how that's picked up. But down there on the lower portion of the door sill, kind of has a butter knife look to it of sorts, especially with that area towards the back. And as we work our way up, we're going to find the roof rails up there. The crossbars, really more than I would call that roof rails, but they are on the roof rails. So the good thing is that you have these to help increase cargo capacity. So depending on what your situation is, you can haul extra cargo around. Also, the chrome surround here on the windows. Everything narrows down as we get towards the back. And the rear roof spoiler, we will find the exposed rear window wiper. But a very clean look here on the rear of this model. It does come with a towing package as well. Under the hood is the 3.5 liter naturally aspirated V6. For those of you who are anti-turbochargers, this is a good option for you. It makes 295 horsepower, 270 pounds-feet of torque. It's mated to a 9-speed automatic transmission. And we'll open the driver's side door here and take a quick look at the window sticker, because here are the numbers you like to know about. 20 miles per gallon city, 25 highway, 22 combined, and 4.5 gallons of gas per every 100 miles driven. And here is the price. I will let you see that right there. Now there is an addendum sticker over here, so I'll show you what you get and show you the increase in the price. Depending on where you buy, I'm not sure if every dealership does that, but at Infiniti, let's get that right, that is what the numbers are going to be. And what was that question? Oh, yes, I didn't forget about telling you how large the gas tank is. I'm just doing things in a slightly different order today, but you're still going to get the same information throughout the video. It does have capless fuel fill, and the gas tank comes in at 19.5 gallons. You can tow up to 6,000 pounds with this model. It is pre-wired for setting everything up for your trailer. You can see the hitch receiver down there, lower portion of the bumper underneath the license plate bracket. And you'll also find that you have a hands-free tailgate right here. There is a spare tire located underneath the rear of the vehicle, by the way, for those who may want to know. And you can see the recline that is built into these seats. Just in case you were curious about that, I'm going to let these seats down real quick, show you a couple of different ways you can do all of this, just in case you're curious to know about it. Super easy to deal with. Cargo capacity comes in, depending on how you set things up, in, or I should say, between 14.5 cubic feet up to 75.4 cubic feet. And for those who like to see everything maximized for cargo capacity capabilities, here's what you have. Now the difference here is going to be that you have to manually put those middle seats back up, but you can push one of these buttons here to bring the seats back up, or both to bring these back seats back up. And the good thing is that you don't have to hold those down. There are other much more expensive SUVs, such as the GMC Yukon, where you have to hold the buttons down. If you let go of them, the seats just stop wherever you let go of the button if they haven't made it all the way back up into their upright position. We will also find some hangers back here if you want to take advantage of those, one on each side. And then you will also find the 12-volt power outlet. If you need to power anything back there, good to know that you have that option. I did want to show you one more little trick here, so I'm going to open this power tailgate up one more time, but watch this. It's not going to open all the way as it did in the previous scene. You'll notice the height is actually lower. How did I do that? Well, I just pulled it down, or in this case, I'm going to push it back up to its maximum height. And to make sure that it opens all the way next time somebody's opening it, all you have to do is hold this button down and listen for the beeps. So now, when somebody goes to open this rear tailgate, it's going to open all the way. So depending on your situation, if you need to change the height to any different setting, different position, that's how you do it. And now we'll work our way into the interior, starting with the second and third rows. You do have the privacy shades here. They're manual, so no big deal to put those in place. Just have rear seat passengers do that anytime they want to, or they can take those down if they want to. These doors are nice and wide, so the good thing about that is there's a lot of space for the armrest right here. It is comfortable. The contrast stitching seems to match in this particular case, and you have a large door bin here, kind of a door bin slash bottle holder, but there is space for multiple items right there. And you can see that this seat is reclined all the way back. So if you're wondering about these middle seats reclining, yes, they do. To gain access to the third row, all we're going to do is push that button right there, and you'll see that the seat gets up and out of the way. And by the way, before I do that, let me show this. We can also use the bar on the front to move these seats back and forth. So not a big deal. Can actually increase rear seat leg space. Now, it's not enormous back here, but there is enough room for adults to fit. Keep in mind, this seat is way back here. So if you're claustrophobic, well, you probably wouldn't want that seat that close to you. Let's move over here to the other side and look at our other option. There is seating for 2 people back here, by the way. A little bit more space. Maybe an area that's a little bit more appropriate for the kids. 5'10", you can see the space that I have above my head. But there is room back here. Now, we also will find cup holders back here, and obviously you have right here, hidden away, there is the USB option. That's going to be on both sides back here in case anybody was wondering about that. As you can see, there is the other USB option for the 2 rear seat passengers. And what happens if somebody jumps out of this middle seat, both passengers here, and forget about the rear seat passengers? There's a button right here to push that allows these seats to get up and out of the way again. I'm going to do it over here on this side since this door is open. And there we go, problem solved. By the way, one more thing I do want to cover before I hop out of the third row: air conditioning vents built into the roof area. I think that's a lot better than having them way down here. Why is that? Well, for one thing, it's closer to the passenger's face, so whether it's hot or cold outside, the air, whether it's hot or cold blowing through here, will be able to reach their face a lot easier and have less time to cool down or to warm up, depending on what the temperature is when it's coming out this way. Instead of being from down here, it has more room to travel, so it just isn't quite the same experience. At least that's my thought on the matter. Here is the panoramic sunroof. There is a power shade that can be drawn back and forth, depending on what everybody wants in the interior. And we'll also find this center console for middle row passengers with cup holders and a little bit of space back there. You'll also find the armrests right here that are rather comfortable. Depending on your height, those could be very useful. I guess it just depends on who you are and how tall you are. Also, rear seat pockets right here on the back of both seats, and the command center, as I like to call it, here on the back of the center console, where you can control fan speed, you can control temperature. These middle row seats are heated with 3 stages of heating. You can change where the direction of the air is flowing. And also find that you have a power outlet right here, as well as the USB ports. And here on the driver's side door, nothing out of the ordinary, but I did want to show you what's here in case you didn't see it in the earlier scene where I showed you what this button right here does, using that button to fold the power folding side view mirrors. And again, not out of the ordinary, but we're going to have 2 settings for seat memory. But what is a little out of the ordinary, not completely, but is the fact that we also have seat memory on the passenger side. Take a quick look across the dash area here. Both seats are power adjustable, they're heated, they're ventilated. There's a lot going on here. And a very nice look with the dash. In fact, let me do this. I'm going to turn everything off real fast. We'll open and close the driver's side door just so everything resets real fast. Here is the button to start and stop the engine. But I wanted to show you the graphics that come up here on the dashboard. You can see the likeness of your QX60 right there and everything that you have around that. That makes things nice and simple, easy to deal with. There's so much going on here to let you know what's going on with the vehicle, but I do like the fact that that's really what I would call maybe a luxurious look to the dashboard area. Pretty nice to have, that's for sure. And your steering wheel mounted controls right here, I think you know what everything is. Everything for cruise control here, phone calls, all that stuff, voice commands, it's all here. And you do have paddle shifters for working your way back and forth through that 9-speed automatic transmission if you want to, a 3-spoke steering wheel. I think it looks nice to have the polished aluminum look here instead of chrome. That just seems to fit better. At least that's my opinion on the matter. Here's where you're going to control the functionality of headlights. All that good stuff. You can turn those to auto if you want to. You also use the blinkers with this lever as well. Believe it or not, that lets people around you know what your intentions are when you're driving. It has a lot of advantages for you and the drivers around you. And another advantage here that I can't really say anything sarcastic about, but here it is. The control for the front and rear window wipers. And something else that I think is really nice here is the infotainment screen, the center screen. Plenty going on here, but it's not an overload of information. Depending on what you want to see, you can work your way back and forth here. And you have your one-touch buttons down here. Depending on what you want to do, we can go into settings and make settings to anything we need to, just so you can see what is here. A really simplistic system. I like it. It's easy to navigate, easy to deal with. You also have your built-in navigation. That's something that I know a lot of you like to have, but you can also wirelessly pair your phone and obviously use the apps on your smartphone. Now, let's take a look down here. You can also control the navigation on your center screen from right here. So if you don't want to have fingerprints up there, you can do that. There is a button you can push to bring up the cameras. You can see that we have a few different views here. Side view mirror views. We're going to be looking at the front view camera right there. We also have a wider angle. And then if we go into reverse, then we see the other camera view, the backup camera right there. You're still going to have your overhead 360-degree view. That has its advantages, obviously. That is a good thing. So a very simplistic system to use, easy to learn, nice clear graphics. I like that. Now, there's a couple of different things you can do with your rear view mirror. If you can't see as well as you want to out of that rear window back there, you can use the rear view camera mirror option right there. Now that does take a little bit of getting used to. It does have a lot of adjustments that you can make on it depending on angle and brightness and all that kind of stuff. It does take some getting used to. Once you're used to it, I think you'll like it a lot. Dual zone climate control is here, and as I said earlier, you have your ventilated seats, 3 different stages, in addition to the heated seats, 3 different stages there as well. A heated steering wheel. We don't need that today. We're going to be in the high 80s here in Northwest Louisiana. Seems kind of early for that, but that's what we're getting in mid-April. Your dual zone climate control. You can see what all is here. You even have the control right there for the radio, for volume, and for turning that on and off. Pretty easy to deal with as far as that goes. Here is your wireless charging pad for your cell phone, and quite a bit going on here within that area as well. You can see some connectivity down there. At least I hope the camera is showing that. I think it is. Here is your shifter. I'm going to move that back over and out of the way. So a very interesting shifter, kind of unique, but it does seem to fit well in the palm of my hand. Just push the button on the side and move it forward to go into reverse, or you can pull it back to go into drive. You'll also find your D mode. I guess they ran out of space for a character, so instead of drive mode, it's called D mode. Let's see what your D modes are, or your driving modes. Here is what they are. So Eco, you can go to Auto, you can also go to Sport, you can go to Personal. Those are the driving modes. We also have a Snow mode. You even have your D mode button right there, or control, on the left-hand side. Kind of interesting to see that. But depending on what you need to do, well, that's good. And obviously, I never really understand vehicles having a snow mode when they're not all-wheel drive. I guess that could work in some situations, depending on where you live. You can turn your auto stop-start feature off or on right there, depending on your personal preferences. Power parking brake, auto hold. Here are the cup holders. And then we have the center console. A little more connectivity down here in the way of a 12-volt power outlet, as you can see, and quite a bit of space within that area. And in case you are curious to know if you can make changes to the look of the dashboard or go through information, different information, you can use this area right here. You can use the scroll wheel to go through several things. There's a lot going on here. I'm not going to go through everything, but just show you a couple of different screens here. If you want to go into settings, you can do that. You can see what you have as far as driving assistance, personal display, all of that. It's all here, and it's easy to deal with. Just to give you a quick tour through the look of the dash area. Okay, here we go on our test drive for today's video. So far, from what I experienced or used to experiencing, I think that this QX60 Autograph has a nice, comfortable ride quality to it. So that goes back to something, if you watch me regularly, that I know I say in a lot of my videos. You're going to determine what a comfortable ride quality is based on what you're used to. So you might come from a vehicle that doesn't have a very smooth ride and say, well, Tom, you kind of underplayed the ride quality and how comfortable it is in that QX60. Or you might go the other way with it. It just depends on what you're used to. So it's one thing about it. Get out and drive these vehicles for yourselves, and you can make your own decisions. But in my opinion, I think the ride quality is good. It handles well. It does what it needs to do for what it is. It's not meant to be a high-performance vehicle, that's for sure, but it definitely gets down the road as you need it to. For those who are saying, well, does it have enough horsepower? Well, it really seems to have plenty of power. And keep in mind, when you really need to get up to speed, if you're merging into fast-moving traffic, well, you do have sport mode. That's one of the advantages of the multiple driving modes, is you have something for just about every driving situation you're likely to encounter in most situations. So a lot of good options to choose from and capabilities as far as that goes. I feel good and comfortable here. I haven't really adjusted everything to the point that I would if I was using this as a daily driver. If I owned this vehicle, for example, I could definitely make it a lot more suitable if I wanted to, but I'm happy with where I am. I'm comfortable, but I can tell there's a lot of adjustability potential remaining that I haven't taken advantage of. But the seats themselves are definitely nice and comfortable. You have a lot of great things you can take advantage of. Talked about how you have heated seats, you have ventilated seats, you also have the heated steering wheel. It's a little strange to talk about that here in Northwest Louisiana with the temperature rising the way that it is. I think we're finished with reasonably cool temperatures for this area. For some of you, you would say, oh, we're used to sub-zero. That's nothing compared to what we have as far as what we have down here. And you know what? You can have it. I'll let you have that honor. I have no desire to go beyond what we normally have down here. And the technology here is easy to deal with. You can reach the screen when you need to. I don't really necessarily think you should do that when you're driving, but it's easy to get to when you're stopped and you need to make changes or whatever you need to do. Easy to deal with. I like the technology here, very easy to deal with. Throttle pedal is nice and responsive to the touch of your foot, so I don't think that takes anything to get used to. It seems to do very well. Same thing with the brake pedal. I drive so many different vehicles on such a regular basis that I pretty much have no choice but to adjust quickly, and normally, well, it depends. Most of the time I don't have anybody with me, so I'm not really brake checking anybody but myself if the brakes are too aggressive beyond what I'm used to. But this one, I didn't even think about it. Just really didn't seem to be an issue as far as adjusting and getting used to everything. But overall, a very enjoyable vehicle to drive. I don't feel cramped at all here in the driver's seat. The second row has plenty of space. We talked about how, well, probably best for the kids in the third row back there. But in a pinch, if you need to put some adults back there too, it works. Okay, it's your turn to leave a comment. Tell me what you think about the 2024 Infiniti QX60 Autograph. Is it the ultimate luxury mid-size SUV? Definitely has a lot going for it, but does it have everything you are looking for? Always curious to know what your thoughts are on these vehicles. I do want to say a special thanks to my friends at Infiniti here in Shreveport, Louisiana for loaning me this model for the day. If you want to know more, make sure to check out that link down in the description of the video. I also want to say a special thanks to each and every one of you for being kind enough to give me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button. That helps me out a lot. If you haven't subscribed to the Vehicle Visionary YouTube channel, please consider doing so. That way you don't miss any future videos. And if you would like to learn about additional vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, check out the video that's on the screen right now, and I will see you there.